The fuck was it doing? Fanboy Modeling School will begin in just a moment. Welcome to the stream, everybody. We're about to get started. Who out there in Streamland is ready to do this? Huh? We ready to do this? We ready to do this? Ask the question. What the hello and welcome to Fanboy Modeling School. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, my brother.
I am good. Can you say that one more time?
I'm good. I'm spectacular. Stupid.
I think I'm having some personal audio issues because is everything looping back at you or no?
No.
Okay, I cannot understand you. I think that's on my side though. I cannot understand you. Like you're coming out as garbled.
Let's see. Let's see here.
Steve sounds like he's underwater, says Bax. Okay, there we go. So please stand by for some technical difficulties. The truth is that we don't really need him. What up? Welcome back to the stream. How are you, brother?
Oh, you hear me now?
Yeah, you're still like you're not the same muffled, but you're I guess peaking. What is it? What is the phrase?
Peaking.
Oh, you're better now. Audience, what do you think?
Am I better now? Am I better? Camera, audio.
Oh, okay, you sound better.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. Same $200 mic, same $400 mixer. There we go.
Could be a wire for all we know, but you sound fine now. I don't know what was going on last time.
Unfortunately, my setup is too premium for there to be wire issues. It's got to be something else going on right now. How are you?
I love you, bro, but you do realize that was the douchiest thing a human has ever said.
It's not the douchiest thing.
You're counting your money. You're like, well, I'm too rich and important for there to be mistakes. You sounded like straight out of Eric Trump's book or something.
No, because they're lowbrow. But is it douchey to state the truth?
It's not saying that your equipment is bad. It's just saying that, there could be any number of things we all know in the stream game, but that's not important. I'm doing great tonight. How are you doing?
Sounds like a poor person's problem. In fact, I was dealing with some poor people earlier, and I was just like, you know what? I don't know. That seems contagious. Please don't touch me.
Yeah, since he called me out, it's my only clean shirt. So yeah, I'm wearing a spoon shirt.
It's real quick. I just want to give a shout out to Beck's Sensi Star, Unapologetically Black. What up, y'all? I miss you too. How the hell are you? It's funny because I'm gonna actually be doing an episode on the douche versus bitch attitude on conversations that matter, and I think I can make a strong case for the fact that most times you're calling the guy a douche, you're really just a bitch. But that's
I love that. I give that an A+. That is A+ thinking.
I'm doing good. I'm
reporting. That's important journalism. You see what kind of joke the CNN and all these idiots are doing? Here is primo stuff that you're going to get from Steve. Real name, no gimmicks. Only here with the Fanboy Modeling School. Welcome to Fanboy Modeling School, everybody.
Bro, so much crazy stuff going on in the world right now. But on top of everything, forget about Ukraine or what's left of it, right? Forget about the fact that China will invade any day now. What I need to talk to you about, my friend, is last night I watched Morbius.
Oh, okay. We're going to get right into it real quick. This is the Fat Mantis HD. Just remind you guys to like, share, subscribe, or give whatever positive feedback or comments you can on whatever app you're listening to us on. It's very important that you support that, and I love each and every one of you here in the chat. I see all these people: Logie Bear, Laney, Hannah Banana HD, Princess Bex, Cincy Star, all of you guys. If I missed any of you, I'm sorry, but love you all. Thank you for stopping in tonight.
I have all your names tattooed on my body. That's how much I care about you. I appreciate you. Logie, I'll get yours next week. Don't worry about it. That's real.
And before we get into comic book stuff, real quick, I want to give a shout out to Black people. I know I'm being super I'm being very corporate right now.
Happy motherfucking Juneteenth.
And so I had a touching fucking moment last night.
Beautiful.
I'm at dinner, and my mom, here's what it is. My mom knows what Juneteenth is, but she's not like a big celebrator of it.
Right.
Whatever.
She's different.
Yeah, but yes. And so she turns on the thing, and she's flipping the thing, and she sees on CNN they're doing a Juneteenth special. And she turns it on, and it's like hip hop artists. The Roots were there, a bunch of other people, Lucky Day, stuff like that. Singing, all these people singing, all this. My mom loves music. She was super into music, and she's loving it. She's having so much fun, and as she's sipping her wine, and as she gets a little drunk, she's getting a little tipsy there. She starts getting all sentimental. She's like, "We earned our freedom. This is beautiful," and she's has tears in her eyes. And when I'm done with dinner, I'm like, "Can I be excused?" And my mom's like, "No, will you stay here? You have to be proud to be Black. Stay here and watch with me." And I was like, "Okay." And she just wouldn't let me go. She was having this emotional connection.
It's real.
Blackness, man. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful evening because of
Listen, two things. One, your mom is one of the I love her to death. Every time I go over to Mantis's house and I see his mother, she always says congratulations to me. I don't know what she's congratulating me for, but I love it, and I love how warm she is to me.
I think it's her memory thing. I think she thinks you're always perpetually having children.
Oh,
She's like, "How many is he up to now?" I'm like, still 3. And she's like, that's it. So I think that she always remembers Santana as pregnant.
And then secondly, happy Juneteenth to you, my brother. Happy Juneteenth to all the blurs in the world, and all the entire African continent diaspora, to all of us. Juneteenth for me, even though it is very specific to the American. We'll get into that. That's another thing you and I are going to have to confront. You're going to have to come with me on the dark web one day. I get into these beefs with these groups, but that's another thing.
Hello, Carmencita. How are you?
Hi, Carmen. Just shout out to everyone. What up, Kathy? Shout out to everyone,
Kathy,
man.
Any app is fine. Whatever app you see me on, see us on, just jump right on there. But yeah, no, it was awesome. It was a beautiful Juneteenth. Did you have a good one?
I did. I explained what Juneteenth was to my son, my eldest. And it was, you got to break it down for a kid because obviously, I want to be gentle and explain what it is. So I explained to him, I was like, hey, have you ever heard the word slavery before? And he puts his tablet down. He's like, yes. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, do you understand what the word means? And he looks at me. He's like, no. So I explained. I
thought he was about to educate you when he turned down the tablet.
He puts his little tablet down, and I'm just like, so daddy's descendants. His ancestors were once brought here forcibly against their will. Do you understand what that means? He's like, does that mean they took you somewhere you don't want to be? I'm like, yes, that's exactly what it means. Then they were finally freed to not be that way anymore. And that's what we're celebrating today. And it was one of those moments as a parent. I joke, I'm a very cavalier dude. I like to hold up the mirror to society. A lot of people, if you're trying to figure out what my humor is about, it's always me making fun of inconsistencies. But in that moment with my son, I realized how important it was to have that moment with him. And it was good.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah.
I love hearing that.
Yeah, it's very important. They are my greatest they're, those 3 little freeloaders are the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
Of course, RM comes here and has to have a thuggish comment like this.
Juneteenth is basically F Texas Day. That's amazing. Hey, does my mic sound better, or are you guys?
Yeah, no, it really does. I had never heard that sound issue before when we started the episode. I'd never heard that come up. I don't know what
I think it's StreamYard reminding us that we got to pay our bill pretty soon. I'm serious, man. I'm serious. They send fanboy. I don't know if you ever read the fanboy emails, but they send warning shots like 30 days before the next bill cycle.
Oh my god!
Like, hey, motherfucker, we know you just paid your bill.
Well, fanboy email is always someone hitting us up for money, right?
Yeah, it is.
I feel I got an alert. I was like, it's fanboy, but I'm just
and listen, y'all listen to me and Mantis right now. I want to say this in the most eloquent way possible. You'll never get your money. We promise.
Out of my cold, dead hands.
Just a real quick honorable mentions before we get into it. UFC this past Saturday, day before Father's Day and Juneteenth. This card was laughed at as being mediocre. People were just like, the main event's okay. Co-main event is 2 washed fighters, and then Kevin Holland, who's a great. If you don't know who Kevin Holland is, folks, he is truly a black superhero. This man's running around Texas stopping crimes from happening before he gets into the MMA cage. Won't be us, man. And Mantis, record broken for the UFC, I believe. I hope I don't get my stats wrong. 9 $50,000 bonuses given out because it was 9 knockouts on the card.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I actually never heard of anything of that like that.
Bro, people getting knocked out left and right. Action-packed card.
What the fuck did I miss? What was I doing?
Absolutely amazing. And then another honorable mention. Drake dropped his new album. Obviously, Drake and a few other people had to drop their album because the Queen Bee is coming. She'll be releasing her album in July. That's Beyonce.
Right.
I forgot the name of it. I had my notes and then I threw them away. So I listened to Drake's new album. It's technically categorized as dance on Tidal and Apple Music. I'm sure Cynthia and I will get into it more on Dumb and Out and on friggin' Request Box. He'll probably play some joints. I like house music. I like progressive house music. I like dark house, all that stuff, man. Classic stuff. I gotta say, honestly, I'm not a big Drake fan, but I was listening to it on the way home, and I enjoyed a good deal of the beats that I heard.
Okay.
It's different. I think you should check it out, Mantis. You might like it.
It's different. No, I'll definitely check it out.
And then last honorable mention, I'm just going to take a straight poo on Morbius. Spoiler alert.
We're getting the comic. There's warning, guys. Well, you're not allowed to leave whether you like it or not, but we're going to be very comic heavy tonight because there's a lot of comic topics coming up. But go.
A lot of comic stuff. I have not watched Ms. Marvel yet, but
no one has.
Yeah, apparently no one's watching it, even though people love it. The people who have watched it love it. They're gonna watch it with the kid. So yeah, I watched Morbius last night. Morbius is obviously the human vampire, not technically a vampire in Marvel comic lore. Became a vampire by way of scientific experimentation, played by Jared Leto. Actually, Jared Leto was really good in the movie. Morbius himself was an interesting take on Morbius, on his power set, the movement. I never saw him as that OP, but now that I think about it, I guess he's a pretty OP character. That is all that I have to say positive about the movie. Bro,
that's it.
That's it. There's nothing else, man. No, there's nothing else. There's not one other. Even the post-credit scenes, which I assume it's been long enough where I can talk about this now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously we all remember what pumped up the Morbius trailer, this picture of Spider-Man in the alleyway with the word murder written over him.
Yeah.
So when you're actually watching the movie, that's a scene where Morbius is following two randos out of a pizza shop when he met up with his love interest, because now he's on the run. And I noticed it instantly that when they were in the alley that poster wasn't there.
Right, they had to take out all the Spider-Man references.
They took out the Spider-Man references, and then
Mikey got mad and made them have to redo shit.
Well, now I understand why. Bro. When I watched the post-credit scenes, I was like, they basically spoiled Spider-Man No Way Home with that one shot. Because at the end, the first post-credit is of the purple rift between realities, and that's how Michael Keaton makes his way.
I knew there was time jumping or whatever, but
Michael Keaton makes his way into that universe, which completely destroys everything that they did in Spider-Man, since everyone else. But I guess it's consistent with comics. Usually when you have, universe traversing comics, one person somehow manages to get stranded in Malibu Comics universe, and then he's there for the next 15 issues or so.
Malibu Comics, man. Remember the X-Mutants?
Yes, the X-Mutants with a bomb.
Yeah, X-Mutants, and their gimmick was that they were just basic humans in a world of mutants.
Yeah, and Prime, you remember Prime, the big gooey muscle guy?
Yeah.
Who was really a little kid, which was really a ripoff of Shazam.
Shazam, right.
So then after that, the next trailer, so they show Michael Keaton, and they address the fact that he's not from that universe, but not by addressing that he's not from the universe. They simply just say, some man was found in this prison, blah, 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 and now he's being released. And Michael Keaton somehow has cosmic awareness, aka what's his name? Vulture. Vulture. He has cosmic awareness and understands instantly that he's not in the same reality.
Oh, he just instantly.
Yeah, and then the next post-credit scene,
because he was a construction worker in his life, so therefore clearly he has the instincts of interdimensional travel.
Yeah, he can do the same thing the Silver Surfer does. And then the next post-credit scene is Morbius is driving out to some desert or some remote area, and then he stops. He's checking his watch. You got to watch. No, there were some good things in the movie. Let me stop. There were some interesting takes. It was really violent. I was surprised how violent it was, but I shouldn't be for Sony. And then, the next shot is a Vulture flying to meet him with full suit.
Right, and people have gone crazy about that one because they're like, how would he be able to build the armor in a world if there were no Chitauri? Because he built his stuff out of Chitauri tech.
Bro, he didn't even build his. The Tinkerer built it.
Oh, you're right. Good call. Good pickup. So he wouldn't. Yeah, he probably wouldn't have the know-how how to rebuild it, even if he did have Chitauri tech in front of him.
No, I don't know what to say. There were some other good things. I won't. Laney's correct. It wasn't. I won't say it was that bad. Out of a 10, I would definitely give it a 6.
So I'm going to give you some backstory on what's going on here. Right. I don't know if this could save the movie. I once again didn't see it, but apparently, Vulture, Michael Keaton was paid for an actual real performance because his character and going to prison with Michael Morbius was a major part of the story.
Right.
However, they filmed it all and they had it prepared. But
I know
what it was is it put them in the same dimension. There was no explanation of dimensions. And when somehow something went behind the closed doors, like Feige was like, no, you're not in my dimension. Get out. You get out. See your way out. They had to change stuff around.
I have a theory about that. I think we covered this on an older episode of Fanboy. I don't think we all really appreciate how close this whole thing, like how close it was to this whole thing falling apart. Right? Like there's sometimes I'm like, oh, they did this to garner more movie, more clicks and more blah, blah, blah. And people going to see the new Spider-Man movie. But I think maybe it was really that bad. It was like your parents almost getting divorced and you walking in the room and they're like, oh, hey, son. No, we're just talking. We'll be together this Christmas. And I think that explains a lot of it. Now, let me just say one thing, right? And we were talking about this briefly. I was watching Morbius. And somehow I started thinking about Blade because I'm obsessed with Blade, right? Mm-hmm. And it made me realize that this isn't the first time we've seen some okie doke bullshit when it comes to, changing shit at the last minute because they don't have the rights or whatever. You remember Blade 1?
Yeah.
Okay, so there was another ending for Blade 1, which wasn't him in Moscow cutting some nameless vampire in half, which turned out to be him hunting for Whistler. There was an actual scene when he comes out after fighting Deacon Frost, and they're in the daylight. He's asking that chick for a new, a better serum, and he looks up, and Morbius is up on the friggin' rafters, and it's Morbius if you're a diehard because it's the long hair.
It's a very distinct look as a character. Yeah.
So you ever wonder why the name of the villain in part 2 is Morpheus as opposed to Morbius? And then I just realized I'm like, oh,
I get it.
So I just figured I'd throw it out there. Go check out Morbius. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on it. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. I'm surprised you haven't watched it yet.
Well, so many people have said such bad things, and so I put it on I'm gonna get around to see it. Just like Ms. Marvel, I'm gonna get around to see it. I'm not a hater. I don't want anyone to think I'm boycotting Ms. Marvel or Morbius. It's just unless people say things are great, I don't have the time to just jump on. You know what I mean? Like,
you get paid to do this. This is what you're supposed to suffer on the behalf of your fans. You just say you don't have
unless
time.
It really sucks. In which case I don't. You guys can suffer for me and tell me about it. I'll get paid anyway.
Yeah,
he says no, you need to watch now.
The kids and I enjoyed it. Oh, she's serious. She said you need to watch it now.
Okay.
Yeah,
I will try to keep a super open mind. I do not want to be super influenced by this.
Whenever someone uses a double super, that means they're not going to watch it.
I'm gonna pass out drunk tonight and like
I'm super into you. How super? Super. So what do you got first topics tonight, man?
Well, we've got to talk about a couple of things. The two major things that we're talking about across the board, which we have to get into, is number one, Ms. Marvel, and number two, Lightyear, and they both are Disney problems. So which one do you want to hit up first?
We're really going to talk about Lightyear, huh?
We have to talk about all aspects of the Lightyear situation.
All aspects, or
we're going to talk about the LGBT kiss in the room that everyone's either ignoring or really angry at.
Okay, we're going there. We're doing this.
So I have noticed that hold
on for a second before we get into this. For the record, 10:24 p.m. Eastern, 6/20/2022 of the Lord's year. I want you all to mark this. Steve did not bring up the controversial portion of the topic. Continue.
I will take full credit for it.
Okay.
You know why? Inquiring minds want to know. They all want to know.
They need to know.
They need to know. So let's go back a little.
Let's go back.
Before the Battle of Florida. What's the Battle of Florida? That's when DeSantis and Disney were fighting over all sorts of things. He's trying to do the anti-grooming bill. Or should I say the rights of parental education bill. Correct name, right? The left marketed it as, tried to publicly assign it as the Don't Say Gay bill. They're having this whole thing, and out of the blue, Disney comes out of the blue, out of nowhere, and opens its mouth about the topic. And DeSantis is like, what? And so, so before this event happened, I'm going to tell you right now, and this is true. You can look this up, multiple sources, all these things. This is no cap right here. Disney had already cut the gay kiss out of Lightyear. They had it cut. They had it cut, and they originally were not going to chime in on the bill on the parental rights and education bill. However, their own employees were protesting, and they were like, "But do something! You're the world's most powerful entertainment studio. Do something! Say something!" So finally, they felt like they should say something. But after that, that forced them to be in this position where they're like super LGBT proud.
Okay.
And they couldn't then release a movie that had a removed, a filmed but removed kiss.
Okay.
And still, like they had to choose one lane or the other. They chose full LGBT.
Okay.
So they then at the last minute put the kiss back in. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to say it on what the stream is, but it is very tasty. One day we're going to be drinking these together. But so we're in this situation where they have to go full left, right?
Right.
This is coming out now as it's approaching. That lady from what's the sitcom? You heard what she said? Tim Allen's friend, who's an actress from Queens or Everyone Hates Raymond or Loves Raymond.
Yeah.
One of them. They're basically the same sitcom, if you ask me. They're basically the same sitcom. Just like one guy's fat, one's not so fat. Yeah. So that woman said, Tim Allen is amazing. He made Lightyear. Why did you recast him? And she's like, you castrated the character of Buzz Lightyear.
Oh, I was unaware of this.
Yes, she said that, and she's trying to make it look, and it could very well this because Tim Allen is so
manly,
so conservative.
Yeah,
she tried to make it look like the reason he was recast was that he's conservative and they're the discriminatory bigots. Their argument is this Lightyear is the real Lightyear, not the toy Lightyear, and he's like a different character. Was their thing?
Okay.
What up? Holla at your boy, Matt. So we've got drama with the LGBT situation. We've got drama with conservatives. Conservatives are claiming they're going to boycott all sorts of Disney properties, particularly anything that's shoving LGBT-ness in children's faces. This would probably constitute. I have not seen the movie. From what I understand, it's like a small kiss and it's not like a big thing.
Yeah, apparently it's like a second on the screen.
It's just like Doctor Strange. When I had heard that like China was like the reason China wouldn't let it in is they're like, oh, because of this gayness. And you watch it and like you could literally watch Doctor Strange and be like, I didn't know those ladies were gay at all.
Yeah,
there were two chicks standing next to each other. Like,
oh, that shit's coming out in a few days on Disney.
Yes, on Disney Plus. Can't wait to watch it again. It'll be great. So here we are, and now, so. Here's what it is. There are movie projections, and I'm not going to say that, and no one can predict everything. Sometimes movie projections are wrong, but they're usually right. They usually get a ballpark figure of what a movie's going to make its opening day. They are $20 million off.
Ooh.
Yeah, this did really bad for an animated film.
Yeah.
And so people are wondering what's the question. Now I can't help but notice that left YouTubers are reporting this as if it's not about the kiss. They're just like, people just lost faith in the Toy Story brand. I'm like, nah, you're underplaying the idea that maybe people are boycotting because they don't want to give credit to the idea that maybe people don't like your BS. Right. And so now there's a debate because there's no way you can ever really figure out why nobody went to a movie, right?
Right. They don't have a box like, hey, did you not come because you don't believe in this thing?
Yeah. They're going to ask everyone who didn't show up. Someone's like, because of all that gay stuff.
Unless you get one of those good old-fashioned screener passes, you know what I'm saying, where they ask you to go see something for free, and then they give you a piece of paper and tell us, like, give us
all your thoughts. And they're like, too gay. They're like, that shit was gay.
Man,
but, so here we have it. We have and also before the thing, Chris Evans, who's famous for this, he's a loudmouth liberal. He was basically saying that people who are not ready to accept LGBT kisses in movies are idiots and going to die the way of the dinosaur.
Wait, say that again, because that was like hold on, say it again and let me get the sound effect ready. Say it again.
Chris Evans, who plays the new Lightyear, said that people who are not prepared to see an LGBT kiss in a movie are idiots and going to die the way of the dinosaurs. Shots fired.
Okay.
So Gray says I was gonna see it, but I read a few disappointing reviews. Okay. And then she also says, and I love the gay. Okay, so right. So you're here's the thing. You love the gay, but you don't love it enough to support it when it needs your help. I don't know what's up with that.
So this is interesting, right? Because we had talked about this in regards to the New Warriors, right? Where people want to see representation in comics, they want to see a representation in nerd culture and all these things. But okay, it's going to be an unpopular take, but you just kind of made it. And again, I'm not sticking up for Disney here, but if you were fighting for representation, is the overarching goal not to support the movie that's bringing you that level of representation? Like, if you don't show up, then there's no reason for this big company to be compelled to do these things any further. For instance, had Black people not shown up to see Black Panther, do you think there would be any talk about Wakanda?
Right. He died. We're moving on. Now, it's a movie that even the main actor can die, and they're still going to push forward because it's profitable and liked and beloved.
Now here's the thing. I know all people went to go see Black Panther, but man, I have not seen Black people show up and show out for any popular movie like that before, ever. Kathy says, I love Chris Evans. He can do no wrong.
So here's the thing, though. I'm gonna say it. We were just talking about how much we love Black people, right? Just at the beginning, we were talking Juneteenth. Black people do show up, and they rep their boys, man.
Yeah.
And so remember when Chris Hart?
Not always, but with
Kevin
with someone like Chadwick, that was someone that the community overall and all of our splintered groups, they were like, okay, we'll show up for Chadwick.
Here's what I'm saying. If you're like Denzel or something like that, or something like that, if you play your cards correctly with your people, you do right by your people, they're going to do right by you. And so I'm going to say, Kevin Hart, the white people try to cancel him really hard with that whole that joke about his son. And that movie I saw that movie when he was with what's his face with that other dude.
Wesley Snipes?
No, it was him, and it was a comedy where the white dude's in a wheelchair, the guy from Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't that good. It had a massive opening.
Yeah,
that was within the same 2 weeks that he was being canceled because of those old jokes that he made. Yeah. And basically what Black people said right there is, you are not canceling our boy. Kevin Hart is our boy. We have his back.
Yeah,
we'll even go to a mediocre comedy of his.
Yeah, you're gonna get you're gonna get Bex going here in a second, but I suggest we get off Kevin Hart right now.
Damn. Okay, I did not know. Okay, it's so ironic that he said those people were gonna die like dinosaurs, and they got beat by Jurassic Park at the box office. I didn't even notice that. That's brilliant, Matt. That is so funny.
So here's the thing, man, right? I know what Gray's saying is this real representation, but it starts with inches, right? How many times were Black and brown people misrepresented in movies? For God's sake, Al Pacino played a Puerto Rican from the East Harlem. You know what I'm saying? And so it gets to a point where what's the game? What's the end game here?
Oh, Ben Kingsley played Gandhi back in the day?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like even from back in the day, that was disrespectful.
When they make Elsa gay, I will be there opening day. Did you mean to make that rhyme? Is that on purpose?
You didn't know Gray's an amateur rapper.
Amateur MC?
It.
Yeah, I don't know, man. So here's the thing. My take on this whole Disney versus DeSantos thing. Shocker. Neither side gives a shit about the things that they're saying.
They do not care. They care about dollar bills, y'all.
Yeah, DeSantos doesn't care about conservatives. He doesn't care about right-leaning people. He cares about winning the ticket. And he has to prove that Trump. Yeah, he has to prove that he is more boisterous, more alpha than Trump was if he's going to win that ticket, especially with some of the people that are going to be running unless Trump runs himself. And then Disney doesn't give a shit about representation at all unless it puts people in the seats. But this is something you and I have debated a few times, Mantis. We're going to have to sit down and do the movie math. That's right, Grace. I said it. The movie math.
Oh. You don't she's coming at you for a copyright infringement.
I will pay a woman to body slam her because
you don't have to. She's slamming herself. She lost 2,000 followers this month.
I'm sure.
Stupid thing she said in lives, but
you know what? When we surpass her, I will make sure that I'm classy as she falls past me.
Send her flowers or something.
Like, I cast thee out. But we're gonna have to sit down and do the math one day, right? Because we're gonna have to look at target families. Who are these movies made for? Who's showing up for these movies? You and I have gone back and forth over this multiple times. I know we don't see eye to eye, but I'm telling you that families. And then you can do with that information as you will. Go to see these movies. So if you're not supporting it, even if it's only a slither of representation, then there was no point in them doing it. Your take on it, man.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Now, did I go and see and defend Lightyear? I didn't. Am I against what's going on in Lightyear? Absolutely not. I think it's kind of stupid to boycott for such like a stupid reason. But once again, I'm not the demographic. I bet you if I had kids, I would be there. Have been there this weekend.
So this is one of those things, man, where I think that I heard an interesting Christian perspective on this once from a pastor who was reformed in this theology and in no way affirms any of the things that we're talking about, right? You know, he has a traditionalist view on these things. But for him personally, he was like, it's everywhere. It's been everywhere in popular media since the days of Rome. For God's sakes, Pompeii put on plays.
Yeah, no, you aren't.
I can't talk about the plays, but you know what I'm saying. You know, you know, I'm going to the Mesopotamian plays, all those things. It's all in how you raise your kids and, you know, whatever values you're trying to project on them. There are certain things that like your kids aren't even going to pick up on, to be honest with you. So I don't know. To each parent their own. But I can see how some parents feel strongly about this when they swing one way, because it's like, well, wait, hey, you're saying that I can't have my views represented in any way, shape, or form in popular culture without someone being offended, but then I have to accept other views. And remember, I'm talking about other people here. I just want to hear your take on it, man. Are we being consistent? It's like, if you don't want to see a bunch of white Jesus on screen, why should that pendulum swing the other way?
You're right. So exactly. You know, as Christians, we're constantly in popular culture discriminated against all the time. My views and my ideas can't be in a movie.
No,
unless it's a niche weirdo movie. Like, have you been to these modern Christian movies? They're pretty bad.
Oh my goodness! You didn't like God Is Dead with Kevin Sorbo?
Kevin Sorbo. The least believable thing in the world is him as a professor. The homeboy can't even read.
Yo, dude, what was the name of that sci-fi show he was on back in the day? Fake Andromeda. You remember it? Kevin Sorbo was like, it was actually pretty good. It was a great premise. We need to do a deep dive sci-fi what happened to those shows episode at Fanboy.
Yo, all of it. What do they call it? The action pack back in the day. There's all that stuff. With I don't know, like Cyber War 2020 or something, and like,
oh my goodness,
you know, Vanishing Sun with the Chinese brothers who do kung fu.
Oh, that was such an amazing show.
I loved that show, man.
Bro, do you know they changed it up? Remember the pilot reel was so different than the actual show we got because it wasn't supposed to be a show. It was a movie. It was a one-off, and it was so popular that they continued it. Like the original pilot was high fly, high fantasy kung fu, and modern day stuff. And then the next thing I know is like, oh, they're giving it a whole show. It's amazing. But anyway, your thoughts on the current situation? Good.
Okay, so I would like to point out that was it Farscape? Was that what it's called? Farscape? I know Farscape had a bunch of puppets. I think that might be Farscape.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, with the aliens, but they're puppets.
I like that show too.
But the point is actually, here's what I'm going to say, and here's my statement, and this is going to be very controversial. I'm ruffling your hair right now. Everyone at home should feel violated from the Mantis, because basically I'm going to say like this. I honestly believe that if Disney had not opened its big fucking fat mouth, that this wouldn't be happening. People would have ignored the kiss if they had not started this beef. And it's like there's a drawn in the sand. People would have totally ignored a lesbian kiss. It would have been nothing. And I am, for one, even though I don't feel like I don't have the energy to boycott stuff like this, but I would say I do want Disney to shut up and dribble.
Ooh,
their job is to make family friendly entertainment, and I'll give them money for that. But if they want to start chiming in on politics and getting all loud and stupid, then you don't get crap. Not from me. And trust me, there are more wealthy people who spend more money at Disney World and everything that they're doing at their parks, at their gift shops or whatever, than me, who will do it for me, who will boycott you.
That's a good point.
I honestly think that people are making a big deal about this when they wouldn't have if it wasn't for that freaking bill, if they didn't talk about that bill in Florida.
Again, man, so here's the thing, right? Lainey brought up had an interesting take. Okay, but like a kiss isn't going to make your child gay. And again, to the point that Mantis is making, a representation of Christ in a movie isn't going to make your child a Christian. I think that what this really boils down to is what Mantis is saying. Has Disney overstepped? Now, Ron DeSantis is a cuck. I would take that man in a fight 100%.
Any politician. There were very few politicians that.
But I've watched what he's done, right? I watched him step out of the shadows, from the depths of Mordor into, where he's at now. I don't believe his conservative values. I really don't. I don't think a lot of people espouse these conservative values are actually conservatives. I think they're opportunists.
Okay.
Did I break my glasses? Are they crooked? Anyway.
You look marvelous, baby.
Thank you. I think that you're right, that Disney has stepped into it now, but at the same time, what are you supposed to do as a parent? Because your kids are going to be inundated with these. How much responsibility is on you? Because your kids are going to be inundated with things outside of home, media, whether it's Disney or not. So why
society is imploding? And I'll give you an example. I am so glad I didn't have children before I saw all these TikToks of what teachers think they're allowed to expose my kids to.
Okay, so that's entirely different. They should definitely shut up and dribble.
Yes. And the fact that they're not, it makes me feel like if I ever have kids, I don't care if I have to steal. I'm sending my kids to private school so that they are not exposed to these crazy people.
Not trusting the public schools, are we?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Society's absolutely imploding, where we have literal teachers thinking they can impose political views on toddlers.
Yeah, I test the gangster of TikTok, man, because I don't really know how many of those people that are on there saying things are actually doing those things. But I will say this: if prayer is not allowed in school, then no worldview is allowed in
right
school.
Then rampant
you just got to be consistent, man. Like it's like you got to be consistent in these things. In regards to popular culture, though, man, Disney stepped in it, and now people are starting to. This is what happens when you fake jacks, man. If you don't know what that term means, then shame on you. Fake jacks means when you pretend to be altruistic or thorough outside your burrow, and you're actually just full of shit. Disney doesn't.
You're a rapper too. You're rhyming.
Am I really? Bars. Okay, but everyone wants representation in media, TV, movies, whatever. We want Black, Hispanic, and other cultures in media. So why not gay representation? Okay, so now you've stepped in it, Laney.
No, I don't think anyone. Here's what it is. I don't think people are actually against gay representation. Like I said, if they had never chimed in on that bill, right, no one would make a big deal about Lightyear. They just let Lightyear go by, and they were like, "Whatever." The girl has two moms. It's not a big deal. Whatever.
Right.
I don't even. This isn't even a new trope. I've seen kids with more than one mom, and it wasn't Steven Universe. He had like three moms.
Yeah.
Right. I'm saying there's a bunch of this stuff going on. I bet if we actually researched cartoons, we could find more of that stuff back in the day.
Well, I mean, so we'd have to sit down and really like dissect whether or not people are actually outraged, because I think outrage culture is a farce on both sides of the spectrum. I think people pretend to be outraged. In regards to the kiss in Lightyear, we're keeping it completely honed in there, right? I would not stop my kid from seeing the movie, because I'm also the type of parent that would have a conversation with my kid about adults, whether they be heterosexual or homosexual, having a kiss and explaining to him. Now, that's something I don't really want in kids' movies, is sexuality, right? Like,
so what was it? I think my sister was talking about Star versus the forces of evil or something like that. That the cartoon, and it's about a 12-year-old girl, and the last season she ends up having like another character be her boyfriend, and I'm like, what is this doing in a cartoon for kids? When I was a kid, my cartoons didn't have boyfriends and girlfriends, to the least. Like, I don't think like G.I. Joe or He-Man had like people coupling up like that. So I really just don't. I don't know what any of this sexuality is doing.
They had that one evil couple. What was the bald-headed Baron's name? And he was with the evil patched eye woman, if I remember correctly. They were a couple.
Oh, G.I. Joe?
Yeah, but they didn't hook up or anything like that.
They didn't hook up in the thing. Yes. Okay. So wait, hold on. So Dastro and the Baroness are a couple.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. But like, you're right. I don't think they were ever making out in this.
But they were getting freaky, right? That dude was like made of marble or some shit.
And the Baroness, she's basically an S&M goddess, right? Like, she's into like sadomasochism. She's like, got the whip. She's in the black, and oh man.
Here's the thing, though, man.
Glasses. Anyway,
yes, I heard that. I heard what you just said. In one way, shape, form, or another, we're all trying to force morality onto another group. Would you agree with that, Mantis? That in one way, shape, or any form, we're all trying to force our morality onto each other.
Whoa. I believe, and this sounds like old man talk, back in my day, they were teaching universal morality to me.
Wait, now you got to break that down. What's universal morality?
He's gonna use this to try to destroy my theories.
No,
he's gonna reference something from the past and be like, "I got you. I read your book, man." Because yes, universal morality, which is don't steal, don't kill.
Right.
Don't piss out in public.
What? Who the fuck do you think you are? I'll pee on as many buildings as I need.
No, as long as you don't get caught, I'm saying. But I'm just saying, like, so this is actually something that I saw someone was attacking Star Trek Discovery, and a lot of people say like so many people hate Star Trek Discovery because it's the wokest thing you've ever seen in your life.
I haven't watched it. Is it that woke?
Yeah, Discovery is woke. Strange New Worlds is what's up. You want to see the Strange Worlds, but somebody pointed out that they're like, and they were dissecting why socially conscious Trek from the olden days and 60s and the 90s is different than this one now. Right. And so when it was is that the old Trek, what they used to do is they were morality tales. Right. However, they were thinly veiled to invite everyone to the table. It didn't insult any particular group. It invited everyone to the table to have a discussion about what is right and what is wrong. However, Discovery, what they do is they have thinly veiled leftist and Democrat strong, extreme opinions, and they make it look like you are evil if you do not agree with them.
And therein lies the crux, right? Because I hit the crux of the issue here. Okay, let me brace myself because now I know I'm going to bring this shit on completely on myself. One day we're all going to have a conversation about the difference between civil rights era issues and modern day issues and wokeism.
Yes, because it was different. It's all different. People think it's the same. It's not the same thing.
It's not the same, bro. The shit that was going on that led up to 1968, and don't forget how many assassinations happened to change a simple, basic. Anyway, I'm not going to get it. It's Juneteenth. I think I have the right to make this argument.
Go crazy, man. This is everyone's Liberation Day. It's Juneteenth. Go crazy.
I'm saying, man, that civil rights era issues are not the same as these issues nowadays, man. I just, I said it. I said it. It's different, man. What happened for our people to even be welcome to the table is not the same as what we're seeing right now. And it is interesting that you would see this type of representation or these conversations play out in comics. You would see it play out in Star Trek, but it was done interwoven into a story that made it make sense. Now it's just a heavy-handed approach where you're right. If you don't believe what I believe, then you're wrong. But I'm just saying the data doesn't add up. And that's just another conversation, save for conversations that matter, because I hate bringing this type of stuff on your platform. But if we're going to look comparatively at lynchings versus other proposed forms of violence against groups, the numbers don't add up. And I'm saying,
you can talk about it. You can talk about this. What do you mean? I'm actually interested. How do you mean by that?
So, for instance, bro, here's the thing. Actually, no, I'm not going to talk about it because you know why? I'm tired of being the villain. I'm tired of being the villain, and I'd much rather if I'm going to say this stuff, I want to do a call in where people can try to come prove me wrong, and then I can just systematically prove them wrong. I'm just going to say that Buzz Lightyear and the lesbian kiss or the kiss, however you want to represent that or quantify it, I don't like the comparison of it to 68 civil rights era movements because it's not the same thing. I said it.
I agree.
It's not the same thing. And anyone that wants to try to prove me wrong, you can't, right? You don't have the data to back yourself up in that argument. It's not the same thing.
And so, it's actually funny. The same person who was dissecting and ripping apart Star Trek Discovery, they were pointing out that they were homosexual, and they're like, "Well, I'm a homosexual," and they're like, "So," and they're like, "My sexuality is gay, but my identity isn't queer. Queer is an identity." That people absorb onto themselves. So, like, basically what he's saying is, if you were walking down the street, you would see a dude and he wears like button-down shirts and in khakis. He just looks like a regular guy. He does not code as queer, right? And so what he's saying is that oftentimes modern day, like liberal, like things like that, they force that it's not enough that like we accept someone whose sexuality is that they're gay or lesbian,
right? It's
that we have to accept queer, which is a different thing. That's like something you see at a pride parade.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? And so he's saying, he's like, and this show, when it tries to talk about gay rights, even alienates me because I don't want to get into kink and be like publicly, and have pink hair and wear rainbows everywhere. I'm just like a normal dude.
So here's the thing, man. You would have to, man, I can't believe I'm in this position again.
We are touching on some serious topics today. Some weeks fanboy just has to be that way.
So if you go through the LGBTQ plus, there isn't a universal agreement amongst those groups about what is the best representation of all those groups, and if they agree on every single point. And I'll give you for instance, when the fight for a same-sex marriage started, did you know, as a point of fact, that a lot of the Stonewall era members of that group were like, we don't care about marriage. We're antithetical to the very term of
right.
marriage.
Because it was the Village. It was like the Village in the 70s or something like that. They were basically punk rock anarchists and stuff. So that makes sense. That actually makes sense.
Okay, let me read this one. In the 60s, cops would go into gay bars and beat the crap out of men who were feminine or women wearing men's clothes. That were real civil rights issues. That was a Stonewall riots was about. Okay, again, here I am in the villain role.
You're not the villain. You're not the villain.
I want you to think about everything that led up to the fight for rights for African Americans up to 1968, and that multiple people were assassinated at the mere mention of black people in America being able to exist without being lynched, drug out, or denied their fundamental basic human rights after living through 400 plus years of subjugation. It's okay to say that it's not the same thing. There are levels to this thing, and I'm fine with the comparison. Now, would I deny any of the Stonewall rioters their rights? No, they fought for it. St. Mark's riots as well, but it's not the same. And a lot of the movement that we see nowadays is based off the blood and sweat of the 68 civil rights movement. And I take uber offense to the comparison of the two.
No, I feel you. No, I feel you. Yeah, no, I've never felt super comfortable when certain groups nowadays compare themselves to civil rights, and like it's the modern civil rights thing. I'm like, you mean you're looking for civil rights to have? Okay, so they want to relive. They feel like they missed the glory days because they weren't alive in the 60s. So they're like, well, now protecting X, Y, and Z groups is like civil rights. I'm like, no, it isn't, because they have all their human rights.
I'm going to say this.
Their groups are primarily filled with white people who have all their rights. They have all the rights in the world.
I'm going to say this, right? And this is on Steve. not Mantis. I'm going to say a few words and know that I'm saying things that happened that led up to the civil rights movement. Tulsa, Rosewood, Tuskegee, church bombing, 4 little girls. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. I'm not comfortable with the comparison. I know what you're saying, Gray. Oh, I'm not trying to make it a 1-to-1 comparison, but gay people getting killed for being openly gay. Wait, bring it back, man.
Oh, sorry. I didn't.
Gay people getting, openly gay. Yeah, it was worse. It was way worse, obviously, in the past.
No, but they're saying it was way worse, not in comparison, but way worse. Like discrimination and oppression of gays was way worse in the past. Yes.
Yeah. No one's denying that, but okay, let's move on. I'm not going to be that guy tonight. Let's get back to Buzz Lightyear.
So basically, that shit was gay. So the question is, there's arguments. Basically, here's what the debate is. It has become. The debate is, why is it not making money? And so certain leftists will not admit that it could be being boycotted.
Ooh,
I think it's clear that it's being boycotted.
Gray, you must have read the book of Bex, because you tried to line me up early with this statement. I mean, people who were Jewish in the South used to get lynched. I'm not going to say that they had it as bad as black people, but they were a part of the civil rights movement too. But again, comparatively, the people who were on the front lines fighting for freedoms of black people back in those days and the civil rights era, even in Selma, it's insulting. You can't compare the two movements. There was a way higher body count on one side versus the other. Not excusing the body count on the other. I'm just going to say this, and this will be the grenade that I leave. I would like to see what our civil rights leaders would say about some of the civil rights movement being co-opted to support certain things. That's all I'm going to say. You have to get into a time machine and go talk to Martin, Malcolm, and the rest of those brothers and sisters back then. Bex says, "See how I get in it, Bex, because you're always saying that wild shit."
Yeah, Bex is sneaky. Let me put it like that.
Oh no, Bex is a troll, 100%.
Yeah, but you won't see it coming because she seems too sweet and innocent.
Like, I'm a pink princess.
And then she goes, and you're like, what? But so, what do you think? You think it's because of the boycott, or do you think it's just because people have Toy Story fatigue, or people didn't like?
I think it's the boycott. I think it's the boycott, and I think people are underrepresenting the fact that other people, and no matter how you want to look at this, whether you dislike their viewpoint or not, there's a very real chance that the pendulum is swinging back right. It's been left for so many years now. It could be very well swinging back right. And who's to say that these people aren't really boycotting? How could you prove otherwise, man? I'm gonna watch the movie. I like the trailer. I like the seriousness of the trailer. I love the animation. But if people are saying that they don't want to expose their kids to it, then I don't know. What do you want me to say? It could very well be true. We'd have to see the pie. How many conservatives go see Disney movies versus liberals?
Well, I think a lot of conservatives do. I think Disney has made the real wrong move right now. I think they sided with the wrong side. I think they should. To be honest, I think they should not side with anyone. They should just stay making movies and shut up.
Kathy says, "Well, this is exactly what Gina Carano did. The lady who got fired from Mondo. She compared our current political culture to the assassination of Jewish in Nazi Germany." Well, you love Gina Carano, so I'll let you respond to this one.
So her comment was a loudmouth political one, but I don't think it's any more as extreme as some of the stuff I see from everyone. Like, for instance, Kathy, I saw you praising Chris Evans. Chris Evans is such a loudmouth on Twitter and politically. Just look at this. He can't start his movie without insulting 50% of the fans by saying, like, if you feel uncomfortable about this, you're an idiot and you should die out with the dinosaurs. Like the dinosaurs. That is a crazy thing to say. And actually, people have actually compared that. Actually, the guy who played Mando,
right?
Compared. Cheers to you, mate. He actually, in the past, has had tweets where he compares the way we treat people at the border to Jews in the Holocaust. So Gina Carano wasn't even inventing that type of talk. But what it is in both cases, both her saying that conservatives are being treated like Jews in the Holocaust is extreme, but so is all these other guys, these activist guys. Both the guy who plays Mando and Chris Evans and a bunch of others are loudmouth idiots, and I don't want to hear that either. I think everyone should. I don't think what she did was fireable, because we live in an age where everyone's making inciting statements. It's like they're at a bar and they're drunk and they're trying to start a fight or something.
Right.
And I'm not into it now. I understand Gina Carano; she's a fiery woman.
She can beat most of the people up. That she interacts with on a daily basis.
I would love her to fight with some of these people. She's a fiery woman, and I understand. Here's what it is. I understand Gina Carano.
Mm-hmm.
She's a fighter. So, for instance, when people said, we think because you liked a transphobic tweet, you might be transphobic. Prove it by putting your pronouns in your bio. And then she wrote bleep, bloop, blop. Because she's a fighter. She's not going to take your order. She's not going to let a mob tell her what to do.
Yeah.
And so I understand that she's a fiery woman. I don't think she should have been fired, but I don't like this whole culture of acting like an idiot on Twitter.
Chris Evans created an app that I actually thought was pretty interesting, because I want to come to his defense in this regard. He did make this app that's a political based app. And he hears and interviews people from both sides of the aisles, and it gives you interesting information. If you're looking to vote, I'll get the app name while we're doing this, and essentially you can find out what the pundits' views are and what their policies have been and their voting policy, their voting practices have been like. I thought that was pretty interesting. He did that. In regards to Lightyear, man, honestly, bro, I'm gonna go ahead and lean with the fact that people could very well be protesting this. I do think the pendulum is swinging back right. I think that they're starting to gain momentum in the culture war and certain issues because of dudes like DeSantis. Let me check back in after I watch it, because if it turns out to be good, actually, Fanboy Modeling School should have a viewing party of this movie, and then we can all decide together.
But it's not. I think it's only in theaters right now. But like
when it comes out, no one.
Right. When it gets on streaming, I would totally be down for that.
Yeah, we'll watch it. We'll use my Disney Plus.
We'll watch it. Like a gayo-meter. And we'll see how gay is it? And Matt says Gina did nothing wrong. She's a queen. She shouldn't have gotten fired. I agree. She shouldn't have gotten fired.
Let's get off the subject, man. It's just
okay. Well, we got a similar subject that we also have to hit up.
God dang it, man!
Well, this is just Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel.
Oh yeah, Miss Marvel.
She is getting exactly half as many views as the worst. So basically, there's all the Disney shows, and not Disney shows, the MCU shows, and everyone's looking over at Hawkeye because he's got the least rating, and they're all looking at him like, this motherfucker's not holding his own. Then Miss Marvel comes, and she does half of what he did.
Now, why do you think that is?
I think this was dead on arrival long before any idea of boycott. I don't think this has anything to do with the Florida thing or anything like that.
Right.
I think it was obvious that they should have introduced her in a movie or something. If
that's
she's so charismatic and fun. Yeah.
Bro, so this whole thing, Mantis, was a play. I'm telling you, Disney changed their model when they thought they were losing Peter Parker. Go back and look at the headlines when they thought he was getting pulled. They started looking for another young character almost instantly. And I am willing to bet that someone was like, hey, Kev, Kamala Khan, she's like Peter Parker. And he's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, she's a minority. And Kevin Feige's like, zing, zing.
It checks all the boxes. He's like, she's a twofer. He's like, she's a woman and a minority. I'm into it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I have to watch it because the people who have watched it have compelled me with their reviews and said it's great. I mean, if you weren't into her in the comics, I don't see how you can be into her in this show. I actually, when the Avengers game came out, do you remember what I said first day?
I don't. Not about her.
Kamala Khan's character was the best play style. I was like, it really.
Right.
It's a lot of fun playing as her, and I enjoy her story. We can get into religious points and all that shit on another show. But
yeah, Matt, who I know reviews it on his channel, guys. Matt over here, Matt drop
the link.
Yeah, he does Geek What. That's his channel, and he reviews Miss Marvel, weekly reviews on it. And so he's been keeping up with it, and he says Miss Marvel is just boring. It's charming in places, but boring ultimately. And that's what I heard. And YouTuber X was like, loves it, but she thinks that sounds right because I will at least look at the tweets. And then he says there's no tweetable moments.
Someone compared it to the first MCU Spider-Man property, and I was like, I think that's probably an accurate assessment, even though I haven't seen it. Because I remember people weren't 100% in love with Spider-Man with his solo movie, Homecoming. You weren't in love with it. You hated it. You absolutely.
I didn't like Homecoming. I did not like Homecoming. I gave it a bad review.
I think there's a real comparison between the two because I think that we forget that they're making these movies for a certain demographic. Or
they're trying to bring in the kid. They're trying to make sure Gen Z is into it, and it's not just us old dudes watching. Because we're eventually going to die or run out of money or something. We're going to get enslaved by Elon Musk.
I pray for it every day. What?
But I'm just saying, like, they're trying to bring in these kids because less kids watch TV. I have yet to find out how much they spend per episode. It's really hard. It's weird. Star Wars, you can find out easily what they pay each episode.
Right.
But for some reason they will not reveal. You know what? They probably don't want to admit how much they spent on her. Because it seems like the production's real high and I think they're spending a lot of money in each episode of Miss Marvel.
But I do think Disney's willing to take an L on this just to make sure the movie, The Marvels, hits. I think the long game is going to be The Marvels.
I think they're hoping. Yeah, I think they're hoping they created a generation of young people who are going to be like, I love Miss Marvel. I'm going to watch forever.
Yeah,
right?
the thing they didn't count on is like all the young people are watching TikTok. Only old people are watching this show.
Yeah,
with their kids.
Lainey says I didn't find it boring. I have to agree with Gray.
Team-based, but a lot of fun.
Right. I was saying that it's more of a family comedy, such drama with superpower, origin story on the side. If you don't mind it, it's great. But it's not going to appeal to many MCU fans. Yes. But so here's the thing. Is it a racist or an anti-Islamic thing why people aren't watching?
I don't think so because the comic was wildly popular. The original installment of the comic was wildly popular. People enjoyed it. I think that maybe that not enough advertisement leading up to the show, not enough character education. She didn't have the benefit of being in a post-credit scene or anything to tie her into Miss Marvel.
Why didn't they do that? It would have been so easy. Put her in one of these. They had all these stupid movies like Eternals.
They could have done it in Shang-Chi.
They could have done it in Shang-Chi.
I know for a fact that her bands have something to do with Shang-Chi's bands, unless they're giving us fucking Quasar, who I don't want in the MCU. I want to go on the record.
Quasar now,
bro. I do not. I want to go on the record and say this right now in front of Gray. I do not want Quasar.
Wait, hold on. It depends which Quasar you are because you know it's really funny. You say that because it's true. The original Quasar was a blonde hair, blue-eyed white dude named Wendell Vaughn.
Wendell Vaughn. No,
Wendell Vaughn. However,
not Wendell Vaughn.
Not Wendell Vaughn. However, in the 2000s, the real Captain Marvel, I don't know. I'm not talking about this chick. The male Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
His daughter, who's a lesbian, Fila Vel, became the new Quasar. Representation matters, boy.
Bro, listen, I don't care if they're gay or straight. I don't want Quasar. You know how low I think of Quasar? Do you remember the original
laughing about how much he hates Quasar?
Do you remember the original Infinity Gauntlet comic? The actual conflict when the Earthbound heroes finally make their way to Thanos, and Quasar's like not in any battle shot, right? You got the Hulk, Vision, Wolverine gets turned into rubber. Friggin' Thor gets his hammer transported. He's dying in space because he can't breathe. Vision gets his guts ripped out.
Yeah, somebody gets turned into butterflies. I forget who it was. Somebody gets turned into a butterfly and then he eats it.
Vision and I'm not Vision anymore. Namor and She-Hulk get turned into living moss and they disintegrate, right? Right? And fucking Vision gets his guts ripped out. Spider-Man gets beat to death with a rock. And then wait, hold on, I'm not done yet. Thor gets turned into fucking glass and smashed. Nova gets turned into cubes and gets stepped on. And then out of left field, here comes fucking Quasar, who wasn't in any shot that I could think of before this. And he's standing face to face with Thanos. And Thanos is like, "You're the replacement for Captain Marvel, aren't you?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he blows his hands up.
Yes. He's like, "Oh, I remember that scene. His hands are steaming, and he's like, oh."
I have hated Quasar since that moment. He reminds me of the homeboy who doesn't throw a punch.
Trey says Wendell Vaughn totally sounds like a black name.
Wendell Vaughn, my brother Wendell Vaughn.
I don't want Quasar either, but I do think all these bracelets and bangles and shiz are Quantum Mans. Yes, I think she's the new. I think she's Quasar. They're making her Quasar.
It seems to be heading in that direction, man. It seems to be heading in that direction
because she's got like the Green Lantern powers or whatever with the wristband. It works. It's whatever. I will get around to watching it. I swear I'm not boycotting it.
Yeah, you are. You bigot.
I'm a bigot. I was gonna go full on that joke, and I'm like, no, maybe I should.
No. I was gonna hit the kill button. I thought you were gonna.
I don't need a recording of me making Islamophobia jokes. You know. So here's the thing: you're saying that Marvel can take a hit. How many hits is Marvel going to take?
They'll take as many hits as we allow them to take.
They are taking super hits lately.
This thing doesn't stop until we stop supporting it, right? Because if you remember that funny meme, Marvel does this, Disney does this takes over the world, kills millions of people, the world revolts against Disney, and then Disney finally releases X versus A, and then the world forgets all the wrongs Disney had done.
Yeah,
it's that, man. It's that. It's content for us to make. I do believe that at a certain point, it feeds both sides of the conversation, and I believe that people will continue to support this until they stop making content. I do think it's time. I want to go on the record and say I think it's time for them to start thinking about the landing. When's it going to come to an end? I don't think this is a sustainable model for another 10 years, to be honest.
It's absolutely not. And you see people are starting to get angry. They're getting pissed off. You can't appease everybody.
But here's the thing. When it's one angry guy on the internet, like, yeah, Ray, she's a blah, 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 it's okay. It's just that one crazy guy. But when you get 10 angry people blogging, and then 10 more people read their blogs, and it's time to start thinking about landing this in the appropriate way. I wouldn't mind them continuing to do the shows and stuff like that. But also, maybe it's time to think about handing over some creative control to someone other than Kevin Feige. And I love Kevin Feige. But I think at a certain point, it's like, when do you bring back the people who care about the properties to the show? And I'm not talking about to appease geeks and gamers and Ripper59. Shout out to those guys. Sponsor the channel. Come support us. Fight Juice. All that shit. Right. I'm saying that at some point, you do have to remember, like, bring people in who watch and read the medium, right? You want people.
I'm sure Kevin Feige's well versed in it, but I just think that
not the people he puts in charge of the shows, the people he has direct the shows.
That is some Disney. That is yes, it's happening in Star Wars too. It has to be some Disney thing.
Yeah, some idiot shit.
Some Disney's thing, like this writer, it's their turn, and they're like, but they don't know anything about Star Wars, and they're like, well, it's their turn. It's like the Democratic Party and Hillary Clinton, right? People are like, well, no one likes Hillary, like, but it's her turn. And then they're like, when they were like, how did we lose? It must have been Russian collusion. And so what it is if you want a well-received Marvel show or movie, put a writer and a director who know at least something about the characters or are fans of the characters. If you Mandalorian is absolute evidence of that. If you want the same thing for a Marvel property, get someone who knows about Marvel.
See, and this is where the representation conversation gets convoluted, right? Because if you look at what Filoni and Favreau did, there was representation, right? It just wasn't the focal point of the story. The story was the focal point, right? And people loved it for that. There was mixed race people, blah, 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 the whole 9 yards. But when you lead with it has to be this thing. Now, Kamala is different, though. I do think there's a great bit of her story that I think is amazing. If you're not, used to Islamic culture, and a lot of people don't seem to understand this. When it comes to Islam, there's only Islamic culture. Everything else is subordinate to being a Muslim. It's not like being an American Latino or being an African American or an Asian American. Everything else is subordinate to being Islamic. And I think that Kamala's character is interesting in that fact because it deals with her being kind of a free spirit.
Right.
In the face of Islam. And that's what I've always enjoyed about her character, because there's always been something cool about these religious characters in Marvel. You look at Daredevil, he's a Catholic, diehard Catholic. In one of his recent story arcs, he had to deal with the fact that he went to the Thor's realm. And he's like, oh, how do I reconcile the things that I believe with the fact like clearly there's a god of thunder and Odin is real. So I like that type of stuff. But
I would love to have I would love to write a limited series just with Catholic characters.
Okay.
Like have a Catholic theme going on. But I'm saying there's some of them, like it's like Punisher, Havoc, Daredevil, Nightcrawler.
Was Havoc Catholic?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so he's brothers with Cyclops, and Cyclops is not religious at all.
Yeah.
And so he thinks he's like
Scott Summers is the devil.
Yeah, he's the devil. I think it would be some interesting stuff if there was something that played off of it. Like I remember, who's that idiot hack? Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith tried to write.
Oh, he's from Jersey, bro. What up, man? What's going on there?
He wrote what is it, Guardian Devil, and I thought it was going to be really like say something smart about Catholicism or people are Catholic, and he just kind of. It was typical comics nonsense.
It's universally loved.
No. Lady. Look at lady.
Yeah, stop hating on Jersey, bro. We've completely gotten the beaten path here.
Yeah, we really have. I'm trying to get back on that. I'm like,
here's the problem. Neither one of us have watched Mrs. Marvel, so we need to go watch it so we can form.
I think it's important to talk about its. Let's face it, failure. And please, I'm not insulting anybody. I understand it's a well done, clearly good production. It looks like a very well produced show.
Yeah. I love that actress. She's amazing. She's a bubble.
She's very charming from what I've seen her in. I even saw her do the tour of Marvel Studio, Marvel, not studios, but offices. She's cute or whatever and all this stuff. Cute enough to watch her show. But once again, maybe she's not meant to pull on my heartstrings. She's meant to pull on, they're trying to bring in young people, right?
Trying to bring families in. Well, great.
Well,
we need to get a Blurred Herd going.
Wait, hold on. Before we get into this, you watch Boys?
Haven't watched it yet.
Any of it?
None of it. I'm saving it. I tell you this all the time. I binge every episode of The Boys. It's not the type of show I can sit around waiting week by week.
So here's what it is. There's actually in this. There's like and this is not spoiling anything. There's a reality show. And for like it's called America's Next Hero or whatever, and the winner gets to join like the Seven, which is that's the universes of Justice League.
Oh, Justice League.
And they have a guy named Homelander, and he's a combination of Superman and Captain America. He's pure American. His suit is he has the powers of Superman, but he's wearing a flag.
Homelander's a bastard.
Yeah, he's a bastard, and it's funny. Somebody is like saying we should let Silver Kincaid win, and she's an Arab girl with a hijab, and he goes, how are you gonna let her win? They're gonna nickname her Captain Al Qaeda. I swear, I'm not sure, but I feel like that's a reference to Miss Marvel. Like they're dissing Miss Marvel.
You know what's crazy? The last season, do you remember when they brought in the fake version of Daredevil?
Yes.
Max's ears.
He does the ear pump to boom. And he's like, well, what if somebody does? And he doesn't want any handicapped people on his team. But I was, just thinking that like they did that thing with the Arab girl, and I was like, maybe this is all like they're just dissing Miss Marvel like on the low. But are they making the statement that people aren't ready for a really hardcore Muslim superhero?
She's not a hardcore Muslim character though.
Well, her family is, aren't they? Well, I mean, obviously, hardcore is subjective because clearly.
Well, let's change the word from hardcore to either orthodox or liberal, right? And I think her family is more leaning between. They're in the middle, right? The dad character is definitely way orthodox, and I believe her mom in the comics is way orthodox. So.
Have you heard about some of the criticism coming from Muslims? Muslims criticize the shit out of this show.
Oh no, what'd they say?
So there's apparently a scene where she is talking to a boy.
Oh yeah, no.
And they're all like, she's not a good Muslim girl. She's not supposed to be talking to boys.
Yeah. I mean, that's the side of this thing that people don't want to deal with, right? They're looking at let's say Pakistani culture. They look at but that's what I was saying. You're not looking at Islam, right? And I knew this was going to happen. I knew that they would be like, this is not orthodox. This is not halal.
Right. And so they're trying to appease a group, but the group's like, well, we reject it because she's a liberal Islam.
Yeah.
She's talking to boys. She goes to school. She gets, she's on TikTok.
If she kisses someone, it's a dub.
And so, can you have a superhero who's actually Islamic? Can you actually do? I'm sorry, for American audiences, would we accept it if she was subjective to her husband, didn't talk to boys? You know the rest.
Gray says, without a shadow of a doubt, that this show is haram. Gray, are you Muslim? Are you an imam? Like, I mean, are you going to argue with Muslims in the way they feel about it? I don't know. I'll leave. Oh man, this has been a great episode, man. You know what we need to have come back, man, is Invincible. What's going on there, man?
Yes, when is it coming back?
I don't know. I'm waiting for Invincible like I'm waiting for Blade. What's going on there?
So I had heard that I was looking at a movie guide for the year, and apparently Blade, they gave it a December 31st release. Now my sister's like, yo, that's a fake date. There's no way it's gonna be ready by the end of the year. I think. I never hear anything about it. I know they got a director, and then they stopped talking about it. Is
this like their big movie? Is that why this is happening? Is Blade like the big property release? Because when they brought Mahershala Ali out in San Diego Con, that was a big deal.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, is this happening because it's like the big rollout?
Well, here's what I'm saying. Look, they don't have anything. Not that they don't have anything, but they only have a shell of an MCU left.
Right.
No one likes Captain Marvel. Doctor Strange I loved, but apparently it didn't do as good as people wanted it to.
It did fine. Don't listen to that psychopath in her high-rise condo.
No, it didn't. No, you don't understand. I'm bummed it didn't hit $1 billion. It's under $1 billion. It's at $942 million.
You think the penny pinchers in Disney are like, oh, we just missed it? They're like, those poor people aren't getting paid anyway. That's like $1 billion to us.
It's funny that they report that they're like, Batman did great. It made $700 million, but somehow Doctor Strange, who has the same price tag, sucks because it made $942 million. It doesn't make any sense, but
that's because people who like the Batman movie are the same type of people that go to cafes to listen to Motion City soundtrack.
Oh, these artists.
Yeah,
they're like, I'm like, Batman didn't win any victories in his own movie. He didn't even solve the case at the end. They're like, yeah, but it was dark and gritty. And
okay, go watch a video. Go watch a freaking 9 Inch Nail video. Yeah, I think Blade is going to be the next big rollout, and Mahershala Ali is not getting any younger, man. But
none of these people are getting younger. I don't understand.
But now that I think about it, man, this might be another ingenious play by Kevin Feige. Blade is. I'm sorry, I don't want to disrespect Black Panther, right? I don't. But let's keep it real. If you're a real comic book fan and you remember when Blade 1 came out, The Blade comics sucked up until when Blade, the actual movie, came out.
Yes. Yes. Do you remember the original Blade? He didn't have body armor.
He didn't have powers.
Yeah,
he didn't have powers.
Like, just some loser, basically.
I do think that with the pivot going on with Wakanda Forever, I think the ace to retain the black ticket is going to be Blade.
Yeah,
I think so. I think that they're like, hey, if Black Panther flops, we got Blade. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's perfect. That's brilliant. I'd be fine with that.
I would 100% be fine with that.
Here's what I'm saying. In my inner heart, I want Letitia Wright to take over.
Right.
However, I don't think she has what it takes to take over. You know what I mean?
No. She's gone through too much, and
I'm not even worried about the scandal. F that scandal, whatever. I just think as an actress, I don't think she can carry a franchise on her own.
And I think they're gonna fumble the bag with Namor. It's time to land this shit. It's time to land it, dude. I
want to see at least what they have for Forever.
I mean, it could be worse. Could be the DCEU, right?
So, let's talk about this. So, as you know, Fat Mantis on Voice of the Fat Mantis, yes. I cover all sorts of conspiracy theories, particularly about Taylor Swift being the son or the daughter of the devil. She is the Antichrist.
Okay.
Well, she's the clone of the Antichrist. Here
we go.
A diabolical scheme to corrupt your children and to bring us all screaming into hell and to turn us from God's love.
Right.
My
Hannah Bananas says, my girl, Tay. I have no idea where you're going with it, but I love it.
It was some satanic shit. I forget.
Okay.
We were talking about Black Panther?
Yes. We were talking about Blade taking the place of Black Panther as the premier black MCU character. And Matt agreed with me.
Yes. My girl Tay. Not the conspiracy theories. I forgot what that had to do with Satan. I forget.
At any rate, we digress. I think that it is time for the MCU to land it, and I think this primarily. Go. Okay, he's got.
Okay, so this finally makes sense. You're saying about to land it, and we're talking about DC, and we're talking about all these things. Okay, so it all makes sense.
Okay,
I honestly believe. So you would you agree that I'm an expert
in DC? Yes,
on Satanism and spotting satanic witches.
To continue the conversation, I'm saying you're an expert.
Okay, a confirmed expert. I believe that Kevin Feige sold his soul to the devil to make the MCU happen. He is uncannily good at his job,
right? Making
all this money, no effort, and somehow DC implodes. Have you noticed the curse on DC?
Yes, I have.
They're all cursed.
Every last one of them.
You're gonna wake some sleeper agents, man. The Satanists are coming after me. They hate me, the Satanists. But what I'm saying is, look at the curse. Henry Cavill is falsely accused of being difficult on set and wanting too much money, so they won't let him come back. Right. Freaking Ben Affleck is a drunk who probably almost tried to take his own life, God forbid.
But was amazing as Batman, the best Batman.
Really, but he self-destructed and he won't do the movies anymore, right?
Right.
Flash, I have a conspiracy about this one.
Fighting old people and women.
And he's running off with children. He's stealing children, and I think it's possible. Look, I'm going to say this. This is a trigger warning. I know some of you are softy leftists, so trigger warning for...
Hold on. Before you say whatever it is you want to say, I want you to take a deep breath and ask yourself if you actually want to say it.
I'm going to say this.
Okay.
So, Ezra Miller vanished, right?
Yes.
He took off with Takata Iron Eyes.
Okay.
The girl he was accused of grooming. However, and so he deletes his Instagram.
Yes.
But his last thing right before he deleted it, he said, none of y'all can touch me because I'm in another dimension. and then he deletes his Instagram. I'm worried that what dimension is he talking about?
Ooh,
is it possible that he
I like it.
hurt himself or hurt her or something?
First, I hope that young lady is okay. I hope that they find her in good health and all those things. I will not speak of the satanic portion of this conversation because, as you know, Mantis is well aware of this. I am black and I do not invoke the devil in any way, shape, or form, even though I know I'm protected in that way. I think that what's actually going on with Ezra Miller is extremely insidious. But I don't know how that ties into Kevin Feige selling his soul. So are you saying that Kevin Feige sold his soul and he's like, oh yeah, by the way, DC's got to fail at everything they do?
Yes, that was part of the agreement.
Oh, okay.
He's like, my enemy has to topple. I have to succeed. My enemy has to topple. And strangely, DC, they had it all set up. They have a beautiful cast, wonderful cast of people, and they're all one by one self-destructing. Look what happened to Ray Fisher. My man didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, my man didn't do anything wrong but complain about the oppressive anti-black system, and somehow he was never going to work again.
I mean, you're making a little sense.
It's all mystical. Ezra Miller was crazy before. Now he's 50 times more crazy.
Yeah. Okay. I get you. You know what?
Wonder Woman. She did that Beatles song singing during the pandemic.
That should not have received a reaction that it did. I just want you to think about that for a second. She did what most people do on social media, which was sing something badly in hopes that it invokes some type of feeling. And the reaction that it got from people was amazing. I think that has to do more with apathy.
Yeah. People are like, they're eye rolling and they're like, you care about the world? What a bitch.
What a loser. Let me ask you this question.
Takata is still posting on Instagram. Are they zombie posts that she's posting from the afterlife?
Oh, did I send you that fucking video of the Satanist that I stumbled upon? Hey, did you switch to red? What's going on there?
Did.
I sent you a video of the Satanist I found.
That's how us at the fanboy modeling school do it. You know,
this is why we can't have a studio. It's like, I'm telling you, the intern would come in right now and it wouldn't even be me being abusive. It would be Mantis like, God damn it, this wine is too cold. I told you. It's cold enough.
98 degrees exactly.
Did I send you the video of the Satanist I found on the internet?
Satanist?
I didn't send it to you.
You send me videos all the time. I don't think I've seen the Satanist.
Oh, it's my new favorite shit. It's not Satanism shit. That's I'm saying that this guy is so out there that I thought of you instantly when I watched it.
Wait, in what way? In what way? What are you saying about me?
Like, he almost confirmed all the things you were saying, but I was just like, maybe we should protect Mantis. Like, he nearly confirmed everything you believe.
Yeah.
My next thought was he's probably coming to kill you as well.
They're coming after me, man.
And your cat.
You know what it is? They want. Sorry?
Benji Cat. They're coming after you and Benji Cat.
Yeah, but me and Benji are ready to fight. We're going to fight for what's ours.
The show's going way off the rails.
Yeah. Yo, don't tell anyone. This is between you and me. I got a basement filled with guns. No, I'm kidding. I didn't finish that word. Let's just say we're going to hold it down here when the Satanists come. And those from Hollywood, because Hollywood's filled with Satanists.
Right. I agree with that. Black Dahlia.
These guys, they're horrible. What are we going to do for this country, man?
Nothing. I'm going to let it burn.
The only way to save the country is to boycott Lightyear.
That was a good tie-in. I like how you brought that back. That was a good tie-in.
I'm doing a Chappelle and you loop it around.
Bro, Dave Chappelle, the man. So in regards to comic news and things like that, I just want to shout out someone really quickly. Chuck Dragon Collins. He came on the show. You know, Chuck from back in the day, owner, proprietor of Bounce Comics, just did a successful installment at an art showing of his work, and go out there and support him. But I want to shout out to someone that you're all near and dear to. Mantis, romance in the cosmos.
Thank you.
I'd be remiss to say that if you guys haven't read every installment of it, you're missing out. 13, if I remember correctly. How many volumes?
Yeah, 13.
13 volumes.
Yeah, that's correct. Look at this guy. He knows his stuff.
I've read them all.
I'm very appreciative of them.
I read them all. I would always read them late. And it always strikes me interesting because it was kind of a pulp style of storytelling, but you told a story contained within the universe. Will we get more Romancing the Cosmos?
Freaking absolutely. I think about it all the time. I dream it all the time, and I'm like thinking, I was like, I should just belt out like one graphic novel of new content. It's really what I'm hoping for. But like, as you know, I'm looking to pursue certain things in my career. Right. Taking a lot of energy. I just can't wait to be done with this phase.
Right.
I don't care where to be honest, I'm pathetic. I don't care where I end up in terms of like my job, as long as I get a job. But I have definitely thought, because you know what, my tactics as a graphic artist and just basically a writer are even better than they used to be, and I would love to do another one.
They were all amazing. So no cap, if you don't know our relationship, if it was bad, I would tell him it was bad. I would be like, bro, don't do this. Don't release it on the internet. Don't send me this shit anymore. Just stop. But I remember one of my favorites was, obviously, I got to do an issue where I was represented as a character in one of your shorts. Right. I played one of the goons, but it wasn't that one. It was another one that Zeus was in. I believe it was the next issue, and I want to say it was a version of a Stranded on Mars. Actually, no, never mind. I won't share it. Just where can the people find it? Because I was thinking about this today, man. I was thinking about today. We don't plug that enough. We don't plug it enough.
No, it's true, because I haven't been making new ones in years. But what it is that I put two. So here's what it is. They're various short stories. So like the issues change. So I put two of the short stories up on actual. They should still be there on Webtoons.
Okay.
And so one is called Black Science. No, I'm sorry. One is called Black Triangles, and the other is called Her Science. And those are both under Fat Mantis. It should be like, it's either Fat Mantis or Giant Mantis.
All right. Here's my next campaign. So Mantis, I believe last time I checked, which was today, you're at 343 followers on YouTube.
73. Yeah.
The hump. Getting to 500 is the hardest part, some people say.
It's a bare knuckle fight, man. I feel like every day I'm waking up with a bloody lip, and I'm like, and so I remember Gray said, "Why are you always talking about this movie Spree? You know how I always love this movie Spree. It's basically a YouTuber who loses his mind. He starts killing people for likes." Right. For followers and stuff. So
it's what has to happen.
And because I sympathize with the brokenness of it, when you're like, I just grinded and I put 12 episodes out this week, and you get like one follower.
Folks, if you haven't noticed already, I'm bringing it up. I want to big it up. Juneteenth, support Black content creators, support all content creators, Black, brown, white, or otherwise, right?
Thank you, brother.
But since we're on Fanboy Modeling School, hosted by the voice of the Fat Mantis, go check out Romancing the Cosmos. Share the video, right? Share the video. Let's get that follower count up. Any exciting? No, it's all love. Any exciting projects coming out in the future that we should be aware of?
Well, we're gonna get all sorts of crazy branding, and we're not gonna announce till Friday exactly what it is, but July 1st. Me and you are launching something very new,
right?
Very different. It's gonna be a collaboration of multiple heads and thoughts.
Right.
I'm very excited about it.
I'm very excited about that as well.
Mm-hmm. But I need to emotionally get over this Obi-Wan Kenobi thing.
Okay, I wasn't gonna end the show until we talked about that shit, but I'm gonna talk about this last episode. The best episode of the series and a great addition to Star Wars lore.
Yes. Even though there's so many problems with it, it's
oh my God,
the good parts were really good.
Okay, there's only 26 problems. 36. There are exactly 76 things wrong with this episode.
It's just it's so badly written. They have all these plot holes dangling around, and
right.
There's times you're like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. What's going on here? But at least we got 2 lightsaber fights, not 1, but 2 in this last one.
3.
Did we get 3?
Yeah. Wait. Yeah, it was like 3 scenes. Well, I guess if we're only counting the Padawan training scene. Yeah, so 2.
Yeah.
Right. What did you think?
It was fun. It was that was fun. There's just so many complaints. Like, why didn't they? They didn't even de-age Hayden Christensen. He's a 49-year-old man pretending to be 19.
Is he 49?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just exaggerating how old he is.
When he's gotten less roles, right, and disappeared from popular culture, his acting's better. He's a way better Anakin now than he was back then.
Yeah, he's grown. He's grown as a person. But what I'm saying is, the very next day, a group of deep fakers deep faked it, and they're like, "This is what a young Anakin looks like," and I'm like, They did this overnight. Why can't Lucasfilm do this?
I just gotta ask a question, not related to Obi-Wan. Who's directing the Ahsoka show? That's Filoni and
It's Filoni. I'm sure Favreau is gonna produce it, but neither of them had anything to do with this one.
It's horrible. It's bad. This is the worst rollout for Disney. I think this might single-handedly be the biggest L for Disney is Obi-Wan. And the reason it's the biggest L is because it's the biggest name, man. I know we love the MCU, but it's fucking Obi-Wan. That's Obi-Wan.
And here's what it is. They learned the wrong fucking lessons, man. They're like constantly being like, we've got record numbers of viewers. For starters, it's because it's Obi-Wan. Anyone was going to show up no matter what you had to show us.
Yeah, they're going to hate watch it.
But now we're hate watching it. And that's not going to lead to people loving you and staying with your app.
It's I'm taking a deep breath, man, because when they announced this show, right, when they did the rollout, I was like, this is going to kill it. Like, this is going to be the thing that reunifies the Star Wars community, and it's turned into the worst thing ever. It's
so I did appreciate her getting her ass beat by Vader, and I did appreciate the flashback, but it might be too little too late, if you know what I mean. Oh my god, Pat asks, do you guys think they're gonna reboot the original trilogy? I think it's perfectly in their right to do so. I don't think they're there yet. I think they're going to keep trying to milk what they have of Star Wars. Because remember, movies cost a lot. But I do think after Kathleen Kennedy, down the line, 15 or 20 years down the line, they will reboot it. I don't think this is the time. I do believe that not only has this series so far had enough canon breakers, I think the next episode is going to be a ton of canon breakers. I think it's going to be just totally absurd.
I don't know if it's going to be canon breakers, but I definitely believe that it's going to be one of the most you okay, buddy? It's going to be one of the most disappointing things that we've ever experienced. Go ahead.
My man, I just want to remind you that to keep canon going, whatever happens on Tatooine, for some reason they always have to go to Tatooine. They have a hard-on for deserts. They're weirdos.
I know.
Anakin cannot see a lightsaber.
I know that, and I don't think it's going to happen. Because
he better not. If he sees one lightsaber, it's over.
I got the perfect fix. You're not ready for this advanced idea that I'm about to come with. No one else in popular media is going to think of this besides me. It's never been used on ABC.
I am curious now.
ABC, NBC, TBS, TNT, your repeat offenders of poor storytelling. WB. Mind wipes.
Okay.
They're going to mind wipe everyone.
I don't think it's horror. Oh, well. Well, he'd have to do Leia and Luke, right?
Right.
Disney bringing the demise of Star Wars, MCU, and Pixar, and managed to play a hand in destroy what they should have ended the greatest show of all time. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. They're in really bad places right now. Yeah. Rumor has it Millie Bobby Brown is Princess Leia. I would love that teenage Princess Leia before episode. I would be down for that prequel. That would be pretty cool.
Did you see what Forbes wrote about them doing a Reva spinoff?
They dissed the shit out of Reva. Yeah. Forbes was like saying, like, even we know it's financially not viable. Don't do it. Don't do it, Star Wars. But they're going to do it because, Kathleen Kennedy is a strong, independent woman, and she doesn't listen to anybody.
And in the background, what we still have looming? We still have a Kevin Feige production of Star Wars.
So, that is crazy. If it ever, I wonder if it's one of those things they keep announcing things and never following through on them, right?
Right.
The thing I'm wondering is, I don't think I have the strength in me to watch Andor.
You're gonna watch it.
You said this about a bunch of shit. You were like, you're gonna watch Miss Marvel.
You watched Eternals. I know. I didn't say about Miss Marvel. I said it about Eternals, and you watched it. You went and saw it in the theaters. You watched it.
I did.
I am not
I have respect for myself. Before I didn't. Before I was just some bitch ass fool. Now I have my head together. And I am watch Andor.
It's Juneteenth. You've been pulled together.
Juneteenth is the only reason I'm watching Obi-Wan. Juneteenth will not last forever. When Andor comes, I don't care what fucking holiday it is. I'm not watching it.
I'm not watching Andor for sure. That you can mark. You're
not?
No, there's no reason for me to watch it.
Boom. And they have the audacity to give this motherfucker.
Wait, I don't have a channel dedicated to bringing my fans reviews of their favorite pop culture.
No, but I'll give them reviews of talking shit. I'll just be like, I didn't watch Andor, but I heard it sucked on Twitter, and then we'll be giving each other high fives. It's gonna be great.
You're gonna piss Carmen off right now.
Oh, Carmen is an Andor fan because Diego Luna.
Carmen is a die hard. No, I didn't mean to say that. Die hard Star Wars fan.
I'm a diehard Star Wars fan, but I do have a standard.
No, you're not as diehard.
They do not have the right to just take a shit in front of me and call that art and be like, "This is the new episode of Star Wars."
That asks a great question. Do you guys think we'll ever get a Star Wars show where the lead character is an alien and not a human?
I love that.
I don't, because I think it goes back to the empirical racism of alien characters, which I think is always better than a real world explanation. I don't think
they're all coded as minorities, right?
Yeah.
Oh
wait, Ahsoka. Good point.
Oh, blam! First alien on the block.
But that's Rosario Dawson.
I just this whole scene, everything going on is just so troublesome. And another thing is, if I don't get original footage of Qui-Gon by the end of this, I will flip the out. I will lose my goddamn mind.
It's time to end this episode.
You're gonna see me on the news.
It's really toxic. It's toxic now.
No. They say Star Wars fans are toxic. No, Kathleen Kennedy, you're toxic. No, you, Deborah Chow, you're a no-talent hack. You're a garbage-eating animal.
You've only mentioned women. You hate women.
I guess in terms of Star Wars, I do.
Let's get the hell out of here.
Trust me, if a man made this, I'd be flipping out on him too.
No, you'd be smoking cigars with him like, wow. Wait, no,
we're not gonna finish this. We're gonna talk about this. You got me started, motherfucker. I hate the shills. There's somebody called Officially Star Wars on Instagram, and he just puts up Star Wars stuff. And then after last episode, he tries to justify or explain on his posts why Reva has survived being driven through by a lightsaber by Vader not once, but twice.
Well, the first wound was cauterized, right? Then the second wound, because it's a lightsaber and it's like instant burning lights, no, never mind.
Yeah, he did something like that. And I said, and then finally I just was like, I was sick of it, and I said, I'm sorry, I have to unfollow you because you're the type of shill that ruins Star Wars. You're the problem. And then he was like, what the fuck, man? And I gave him a smiley face. I was like, boom. I'm done with the shillage, man. People trying to defend this, because here's what it is: people really need this show to be good, and there are a lot of people out there in total denial.
Bro, you do have to admit that fight scene between Reva and Darth Vader was pretty boss.
That was great, but I'm saying a lightsaber is more than like plot. I mean, I've watched 5 hours of it now, and they owe me something. They owe me some sort of intelligence.
They don't owe you anything, you toxic male.
They owe me everything. I'm a male. I get everything. I want to be fed breakfast and a blowjob every morning from Star Wars.
That is it. That is that.
He can't handle it. He can't handle the truth. He cannot handle the truth.
I'm looking out for you, man. Anything else that comes out of your mouth is the end of your channel.
No, I'm not the only one fighting for freedom, man. You're fighting for Star Wars freedom.
Yo, guys, make sure you tune in to the voice of the Fat Mantis, the Fat Mantis.
Kathleen Kennedy is oppressing me. She might as well have fucking shackles on my arms, man.
Tune in to Power Love Latinas Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, and then Request Box Live, 10 p.m. Eastern. And we just launched a new show over on the Hold Up TV. ... Princess Bex, if you're nasty, especially if you're nasty with Princess Bex, we'll be talking about all of the nastiest things that the women talk about when we're not around.
Okay, can't wait for that one.
Sunday through Wednesday, Hold Up TV Productions. We have, I guess we can agree on that. Not Hold Up TV Productions. We have Fanboy Modeling School. Then we have Tuesdays, Conversations That Matter, Dope Dynamics. Wednesday. Oh no, never mind. It's all out there. It's all out there.
You can't even remember all your streams. That's how dedicated this man is.
Mantis, what do you got going on?
I'm living the dream right now. Tomorrow I'm gonna do my brunch. I'm going back to brunch. 11:30 a.m.
Right.
Eastern Standard. Be there. Gonna be chilling that morning. I'm also gonna be releasing a new video all about Star Trek. But the real thing is, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Be there for Rogue Planet. We are going to be getting in to the finale of Obi-Wan, and we're going to just rip it into parts. You can see that I'm high strung now. You won't. You think I'm high strung now, you will not be able to deal with me on Wednesday, and that's why you should tune in. Tell your friends.
You can find us everywhere, folks. It got crazy tonight. Ciao.
As every good episode should. Fuck you all if you like us.